Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 53 female, am a family therapist and I live with my husband, 57 male. We agreed to be child-free from the onset of our relationship, so we have no child of our own. My brother, 55 male, and his wife, 52 female, have 2 children. Ian, 23 male, and Bruce, 20 male. They are comfortable and in the beginning, everything seemed normal. Ian is the golden child. He is a smart extrovert and very lovable. My brother and his wife adored everything about him. But Bruce was very different growing up. He was unusually quiet. Soon my brother and his wife realized that something was wrong, so they took him to the doctor. He was diagnosed with a minor disability which required long-term treatment and therapy. My brother and his wife are educated and aware that some children are born this way. But they kept complaining about how draining his situation was and discussed this with all who cared to listen, even in his presence. They were resentful that he wasn't perfect like the older brother and blamed him for things beyond his control, like when they had to spend many days at the hospital, his hospital bills, and then therapy. I warned them about the blame game, letting them know it wasn't helping him at all. Bruce was an introspective child and had trouble opening up to people. By the time he was 7, the child was thinner and more reticent. As a therapist, I knew that his behavior was more a result of his relationship with his parents than his ailment. I caught him crying one day, and with a little probing, I realized that the poor boy was overwhelmed. He saw himself as a liability to his parents. I was heartbroken for the little kid, so I had him stay with me for the summer break. The change of environment helped him a lot and he returned home happier and healthier. It did not last long enough, and after a few weeks, my sister-in-law dropped him off at my place unannounced. I asked my brother their reasons for doing so, but they said nothing tangible, yet they insisted he stay for the week. 3 weeks passed, but they showed no signs of coming for him. I saw how agitated the whole ordeal made him feel, and I knew he was battling with the pain of rejection and feeling unwanted. So I was careful not to let him know his parents were not coming back for him. I took up raising him as mine and enrolled him in school. We filled up his free time with recreational activities that yielded better results than therapy, and he even outgrew his social awkwardness and made friends. Although his parents called a few times, more out of obligation, they unofficially made it known that they did not want him back, so I adopted him. When I married my husband, I made him understand Bruce's delicate situation, and although we both agreed to be child-free, he helped me raise Bruce like his own child. He even introduced Bruce to tech, since he was a software engineer. Bruce poured himself into IT, and before he turned 18, my kid was a tech prodigy. He developed a software app and sold it for a few $1,000,000 to a big tech company. He also has his own startup tech company and is doing amazingly well for his age. So recently he bought a brand new Audi 2023 A8. As a birthday present for me, I took it to a family wedding and everyone could not get enough of it. My brother especially, since he is the family's car guy. He asked around and discovered it was Bruce's gift to me. It led to more questions since they did not know much about their son's life. I stopped filling them in on his progress when they made it obvious that they did not care. They found out about his career, his software and startup, and even his current worth. Following this, my brother and sister-in-law tried to re-establish a relationship with him. They sent messages across, invited him for dinners, and always made it a point to talk about Bruce whenever we had large company. On his part, Bruce refused to meet with them, barely returned their calls, and turned down every invitation without offering any excuse. So they get upset over this, berating him for not acting like their son, that he was embarrassing them with his actions. It didn't help that he would frequently drop off at my place whenever he was in town, and the only time they could meet him was when he was with me. Then they began demanding he buy properties and exotic cars for them. He refused to give in to their demands, and when they complained, he told them off for making a fuss over the car he got for me, told them I was his family, and then he cut them off. They wanted me to interfere, but I told them that he is an adult, so I can't force him to go against his will. Now they are blaming me for not supporting them and have turned everyone against me, telling everyone that I turned their child against them. Am I the a-hole here? Update. Thanks to everyone who contributed to my first post. I know I'm not the a-hole. Bruce is an adult now. But he never forgot how his family dealt with him when he was just a little child. I love him very much, but I try my best not to interfere because his relationship with his biological family is a delicate matter, and there isn't much I can do. I told my brother that they are reaping what they sowed, and now that the full story is out, a lot of our relatives are no longer on their sides. You're not the a-hole, OP. You're a very good person, and I'm glad Bruce had someone like you in his life growing up. His parents did so much damage to him for something that wasn't any of his fault. They blamed him for something he couldn't change. At the age that he was back then, he shouldn't have been exposed to any of that. His parents are very hypocritical for wanting him to be their child now, only after he succeeded after they abandoned him. You don't and shouldn't interfere in the matter. Your brother and his wife were the ones who destroyed their relationship with their son all by themselves. I'm sure they can fix it all by themselves. I seriously doubt they'll succeed though. Story 2. My partner and I have been dating for quite a while now. We met back in March of 2019 and he asked me to be his girlfriend in June of 2019. We spent every day together from March until August. Unfortunately, he got deployed in August of 2019. We stayed together during the deployment until June 2020. However, we got back together when he came back in October of 2020 and have dated ever since. A couple of months ago, he was in the process of getting a home and I was super excited for him as this would be his first time moving out. As we have been dating a while, I asked him what he thought about me moving in. He said no. He told me he wanted to experience living on his own because his mom did everything for him. He also said that he did not want me to move in because he would never know what living on his own is like. He said once I move in, that his chance to live on his own will be over, and that we have our entire lives to live together. He said I should be more understanding since I have already lived on my own, and I should want him to experience it as well. I took it pretty hard that he did not want me to move in since we have been dating for so long, but I respected his wishes. I helped him move in and stayed at home. That is the last time I went home. I have only been staying at his place. I also work here now. I keep all my clothes and hygiene products in a suitcase. At this point, I have stayed here every night for almost 2 months, and everyone keeps asking me when I'm moving in. Most people think I have already moved in because I am here every day. And I have been grocery shopping, cooking every night, cleaning the inside of the home, ironing his clothes, and cleaning the outside of the home. I will mention that I'm going home and get upset and ask me to stay. Last week, I finally confronted him about it. I asked what the deal was with me staying there every night, but not having a key to the home or being able to move in. His only response was that he loved me staying there but still wanted to feel like the place was his. He thought it would be a good idea for me to stay at my house for a week. The next day, I packed all my stuff and left. He was pretty upset about this and begged me to come back. Honestly, I think he felt bad because I was so upset. I told him since I did not live there, I would no longer be cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, etc. He looked at me like I was crazy. He thinks since I work from there during the day and stay, I should clean. Don't get me wrong, I have no issue cleaning up my mess, but I no longer want to clean his mess since I do not live there. Am I the a-hole for telling him I won't be doing anything more? OP, it's obvious your boyfriend wants you to take care of the house and him like his mother used to for him when he stayed with her, because he's so used to getting that kind of treatment, but he doesn't want you to move into the apartment. So, he wants you to do all the house chores, but not move into the house. You have to stop doing the house chores and treat him like a kid. It's his house. There should be something he does even when you're around. Just because you're around doesn't mean he automatically gets a housemate. You can sleep over at his place, but once the sleepover is done, go back to your house. His house isn't your house until he tells you to move in. Now for some comments. He sounds like an entitled brat, not the a-hole, and I seriously suggest don't consider moving in there or staying the night, etc. until the two of you have a frank discussion about expectations of living together. You sound amazing, so please assess your relationship. Don't waste time on someone that isn't going to value you. Not the a-hole, but I don't understand why you were doing all that work for him anyway. It's his home and his job to buy his own groceries. It's also his job to keep his house clean. It's good that you clean up after yourself, but the fact that you work from home doesn't justify him expecting you to do all his chores. So even if you go back, don't do that stuff for him anymore. And if and when you officially move in, you still shouldn't be doing everything. Everyone sucks here. He didn't lock you in the home. You are the one who stayed there every night, without a key, and took on the role of cooking, cleaning, etc. He was pretty clean with you that he wanted to live alone, and you just didn't leave. I think you convinced yourself that if you proved your value, he would give you a key. He told you to stay and was happy to have you do everything around the home, without the commitment of moving in. So now you reset the boundaries. He was very clear, he isn't ready to move in. So believe him and respect his boundaries, and for your own mental health, don't try and convince him he is wrong by doing everything and being the perfect housewife.